how you doing, econ teachers? This is Jacob Clifford. I'm making this quick video to give you tips to help you prepare your students for the AP exam. These are all things that have worked for me with my students in my classroom, so I wanted to share them with you. Number one, the most important thing you can do with your students as you get ready to review for the AP test is give them a practice exam. So before you start your official review, sit down and say, okay, let's take a full-length 60-question multiple choice AP test. Let's see how you do. Don't make it for points and don't make it for a grade. This is just pure assessment to see where students are, and it's by far the most important thing you can do to get your students ready for the AP test. A lot of teachers will give a practice test after they review, which is good, but it's better to also give one at the beginning before you review. This tells students where they are. And since you haven't reviewed yet, it gives them their lowest possible score. So for some students, that might be a 5. That means they gotta spend more time on calculus and physics or whatever else they're taking, and they need to know they allocate their resources towards another AP test. But for a student that gets a 1 or a 2, they need to know, okay, that means I gotta try harder during the review sessions to practice more, to learn more, because right now I am not gonna pass the test. So if you don't give a pre-review practice exam like this, a lot of students are overconfident. They think, oh, I don't need a review. I gotta be in the class. I'm gonna get a 5 for sure. Giving the test ahead of time helps them get information and allocate their resources. Tip number 2 is have a detailed review calendar. I gave my students a calendar that tells them what unit we're covering on which day and when the after-school review sessions were going to be covering specific units. I would always do after-school review sessions, and I think they're effective, but it's important to make sure you're covering a specific unit or a specific topic. I think it gets too wild if you're like, okay, well, what do you guys want to learn about? Let's cover unit 6, let's cover unit 1, we're all over the place. So for me, after school, I had a review session for every single unit, and I told my students that if they got a 5 on the pre-review practice exam, then they don't have to come to any review sessions. If they got a 4, they have to come to 1 review session. If they got a 3, they have to come to 2 after-school review sessions. If they got a 2 on the practice test, they'd have to come to 3 review sessions. And of course, if they get a 1, then they have to go to 4 review sessions. In other words, I didn't force them, because you can't force students to come in after school, but I would highly recommend, if you got a 1 on the test, you gotta do more work. You gotta come to these after-school review sessions as well as the in-class reviews. Tip number 3, I would give my students a color-coded packet for every single unit. So for pink paper would be unit 1, blue paper would be unit 2. I'd have my study guide from the Ultimate Review Packet on the top that they'd fill out as part of the review. And then I'd have like 2 or 3 free responses with the answers all stapled in a packet. And so here is your unit 3 packet. This is what we're gonna fill out. This is what you have to do to get you ready for the AP test. This is actually helpful, especially when students have to miss class, right? If a kid's gone, they're sick, you can say, okay, you missed unit 4, here's your unit 4 packet. So you're not trying to think, oh, what did we cover on that day? It's very organized. Every kid has a packet, and they know if you fill this out, you do these free responses, you understand that unit. Tip number 4 is more for you macro teachers. It has to do with ample and limited reserves and the new stuff that College Board put on the AP test. I've had a ton of teachers who've attended my workshops reach out to me and say, oh, what should we do? And they're kind of freaking out. Don't freak out. It's probably gonna be 1 or maybe 2 multiple choice questions on the AP test. It certainly will not be 4 or 5, and it's probably not gonna be a free response. And if it is a free response, it's only gonna be 1 question, a very small portion of the test, that says, if there's ample reserves, what could the Federal Reserve do? Something like that. By the way, you micro teachers are thinking like, what the heck is he talking about? Don't worry about it. They made some changes to macro, very small changes. Micro, you're still great. No changes to you. You've always been the same for like the last 30 years. Now, tip number 5 has less to do with this year's AP exam and more to do with future AP tests. Tip number 5 is come to one of my econ workshops. I've been training AP econ teachers since 2010. I've worked with thousands of teachers. In my workshops, you get my teacher resources, my PowerPoints, all those multiple choice questions, the quizzes, those activities that I have, those all come with it. And the workshops are super fun. I just posted the dates for my in-person workshops. They're on my website. Keep in mind, there's 2 different sets. If you can't come to San Diego, you can always sign up for the online version. I'm making exclusive videos this year that cover the key concepts and the key skills and the key strategies you need to teach this class. So if you can't come to San Diego, at the very least sign up for the online version. But if you can come to San Diego, keep in mind I've only made the workshop 2 days. Usually it was 3 days. I'm condensing it down to some of this online stuff that you're gonna do to help you get ready. So you don't have to have 2 days with me in San Diego. You can spend the rest of the time surfing at the beach, hanging out in San Diego. So bring your family, bring your friends, come out to California and do a workshop with me, Jacob Clifford.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Thank you again for sharing my resources and videos with your students. I made a new resource that organized all my videos so it's a little easier, one-page document so students can click on the video and see what each topic is about. That is inside my Ultimate Review Packet with the free preview, so you'll check that out and let me know if you need anything else. Thanks for watching. Till next time.